The first two people I met was Dre and DOC. Hey P, I fuck with your shit. Yeah, it's gangster. And I was like, thank you, sir.
What's up, everybody? This is Jillian, Superstar, and you are watching Complex News. I am joined by 9-time Grammy Award-winning artist, one of the greatest musicians of our generation.
Wow.
And it's true. And he's currently making his directorial debut. Anderson, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for that lovely intro.
It's very true. It's all
Thank you.
true. K-Pops is in theaters by the time this airs. It's a family comedy that you wrote, directed, produced, starred in, and created original music for.
Yep.
So this is your baby.
It is.
And you filmed it with your baby, because it's with your actual son. What was that process like? Like, what did you learn about, his name is Soul, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn about him and working with him in this way? Because it reminded me of The Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he inspired the whole thing. The whole reason why I wanted to do it was based off of the time I spent with him during quarantine. And, you know, during that time, he was like 8 years old. Mm-hmm. And he was like obsessed with two things, being a YouTuber and K-pop. And I didn't know anything about either of them. And so I had to really tap in and see what it was about. And when I started looking at the YouTube and seeing things that he wanted to do, it brought me back to when I was doing like movies, home movies with my sisters and, you know, with my friends. That was what I used to do, like make little home movies and edit them. And it made me like go back to that, being a kid again. And you know, when he showed me the K-pop music, immediately it brought me back to like groups that I grew up on, like New Edition and TLC and Jodeci, and then it made me even think about like Motown groups, like, you know, the Temptations, how Berry Gordy was putting these groups together, and even like Earth, Wind & Fire. So I was really like surprised that like, okay, I'm getting old, because as soon as he was into that, I'm like, you know, I know you know about that, but what you know about Tupac? You know about BTS, but you don't know nothing about BET. So I was always like trying to make sure he had both his cultures, you know, represented. And so it was like a unique opportunity for me to be able to tell a story that can showcase both, and also showcase like the bond that I got to experience with my son while I was in quarantine with him.
I love that. And is it true that he's not even into K-pop as much anymore?
He isn't. That's the one thing I realized, you know. He's 8 years old, and movies take forever. And by the time it's time to shoot, he went from loving K-pop to loving Slipknot.
Good taste, though.
Yeah, he's
taste.
well-rounded for sure. But yeah, you got to move quick, and you had to pivot with the teens, and it was cool. He was a good sport. He's like, you know, I'm not really into this that much now, but I know we committed to this, so we're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it right. So
at least he followed through at 8 years old, because
really
I know
proud.
I gave up on everything at 8. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Dang.
So, so at least you raised him to have like a really good work ethic.
Yeah, we had contractual obligations, so he learned
Like, he didn't have a choice.
everything about that. Neither of us had a choice. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do it right.
So this movie feels super full circle, because your mom was an orphan in Korea, right, during the Korean War, and then adopted by a black family and brought to Compton. And I'm from Compton, by the way, so
Word?
this resonates, yeah.
Hub City, let's go.
Hub City,
Wow.
okay, yes. And now you're making a film about like the fusion of black culture and K-pop. Like,
Yeah.
does it feel full circle to be doing this?
It definitely feels full circle. It was awesome because we got to shoot in Korea. I didn't grow up Korean. I grew up, you know, in a black household, and my mom, you know, raised us in a black household, and it was always important for her to, you know, have us experience that as many ways as possible. Like in my hometown, there wasn't a lot of black people, so we were always going to LA and experiencing different things so we can, you know, be exposed to the culture. And I got introduced to my Korean side. The mother of my two sons is straight from Korea.
Wow.
And so, you know, they speak the language now, and I got introduced to all the culture through her. And I thought there was a lot of things that could unite us, and a lot of things that we had in common, the two cultures. And being able to shoot a lot of the film out there in Korea was awesome. We kind of, you know, touching back to the roots. And I think it's cool. I hope this opens the door for like more stories like this, because you know, we pretty much got Rush Hour. That's the only thing you really see Asians and blacks on screen. And I know there's a lot of Malaysians out there. I know there's a lot of stories out there, and I hope it, you know, we see more representation like on the big screen. And I'm glad that we were able to, you know, have something different where it's I could have pulled from like a lot of traumatic things in my life, but it was important for me to have something that was joyous and something where you could see the families connecting together, a father and son connecting on screen, and something that is more about the things that helped us cope with the trauma.
I feel like we have enough traumatic stories.
Right?
Yeah. I think we're traumatized out. Like, I think more Black stories could be a celebration and like led with love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody dies in my film. It's
Thank
fun.
God. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah. Yes, Lord.
Yes, Lord. Now, speaking of your relationship with your mother, in your song Carry Me, talk about how you didn't want to get your Jordans dirty.
Yeah.
So you asked her to carry you to the car.
Yeah, I didn't want to get my Jordans dirty from the mall and like the parking lot in the mall, like getting from the store to the car.
Oh, you don't want the bottom.
I didn't want them to get anything
I thought it was like a
creased,
rainy day
nothing. Nah,
situation.
I did not
Okay.
want them to touch. My mom, she was like, them Jordans cost. And before that, I used to get all my shoes from Payless, so that was a big
Shout out
step.
to Payless.
So I was like, okay, these gotta last. Mama, please, can you carry me? And yeah,
What Jordans were they?
they were Jordan 3s, Simi 3s. Those was the ones. she picked your boy up to the car.
You still have them?
No, I don't.
Okay.
You know what's funny? Like, as soon as I got home, I spilled Kool-Aid all over them.
So all that.
I didn't want to wear them after that.
Real?
Yeah.
What flavor Kool-Aid?
Red.
Cooked.
That's
They're
right.
done.
Super cooked.
Yeah, they're done. In the film, you have a line that I love, and you're like, the Jacksons walked so BTS could dance.
Yeah.
Now, you touch on how K-pop is like influenced heavily by Black culture, especially like music that goes global.
Mm-hmm.
But where do we draw the line or like the distinction between appreciation and like appropriation?
Well, I think it's cool now that, K-pop has been like kind of in this incubation phase, and it was considered niche for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So where Koreans were kind of just doing it for themselves, and they could keep it, within Korea. And every year it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think every year now they have to learn, and people have questions now, and people are being exposed. And now Korean K-pop music, K-pop cinema, you might have these growing pains now that the genre has, because, it was kind of kept in this
bubble.
this bubble for a minute. So now everyone's looking at it, and now they're like, well, what about this? You ever think about this and that? And so there's all these conversations, but the more people know and the more people do their history and research, they see, oh, it is actually pulling from the Black music. This is something that's been going on for years, and everyone's had their interpretation of how it's done. And anytime you're in the music business, people are going to take the business model and do it their own way, and that's just how it's going to happen. Like, it's not going to stop for anyone, but what you can do is learn from it, and in order to really take care of the genre and to have respect for it, you learn about it, and that's going to make it to where you're not appropriating, where you are appreciating, because you see and you have respect for where it came from, and you're able to handle it with grace and with care into the next generation, right? So you don't do certain things because out of respect for the people that have done it before, this isn't right. But if you don't have any knowledge of it, then you will be going off and doing, dumb stuff.
Yeah.
And that's disrespectful to the culture. And that's only when you don't have a good sense of knowledge of what came before. So I'm happy that these questions are being asked, because the conversation should be had. And movies like this touch on it. And there's a lot of different music going on, a lot of different conversations happening around K-pop. It's mega, it's huge now. I didn't know it was even going to be this huge by the time the movie came out. It's been 5 years making this, but
oh, wow.
I'm glad that we touched on certain things about it, and that it can add to the conversation.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, what have you learned about directing that you didn't get from music?
You got to be on set at like 6 a.m. And then you got to be the last one off set.
I see.
And then directing, yes, there's the lenses and the shots and all this stuff, but a lot of it is just like putting out fires and being problem solver, and having to be, myself, I also had to be a dad. I'm still a dad on set too.
Right.
But a lot of times you're, dealing with things in makeup and hair, then you go in and the lighting guy and the DPs, and there's all these, as soon as you get out the car, you're having to solve problems, and everyone's looking at you like, what do we do? And you have to be direct, you have to be very intentional, and you have to be confident in what you do, or else you're going to be making somebody else's movie. So, with music, I don't feel like there's half as many people to kind of direct. Sometimes it's just me and the engineer in that studio, and I get
more intimate.
More intimate, a fraction of the budget, Like, ain't no money in music right now to do all, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you go to these movies and ain't nobody gave me $10 million to do anything in music, you know, like, you know, album-wise.
Yeah.
And so I had a lot of first-time directors don't even get that. A lot of first-time directors don't get half the things that I got to do. I got to do a movie with my son, my close friends, all the music, original music, everything, put all kinds of people in it that, you know, took their time and, you know, did me big favors to be in it so we could tell the story. It requires a lot, man. You have to be very, very, you know, intentional with how you're directing these people. A lot of times in music, like, I'll change my mind different days, how I'm feeling. Every day I could, you know, go off. I can change the different lyrics kind of on the spot. You can do that in the movies, but you know, every decision you make is like a domino effect.
Affecting so many people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and the budget.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the time and everything. So going in with your prep is very important with movies. It's like everything with the storyboards and how much you prep and research so you're not wasting so much time and money.
Was there any director that you were calling during this process to be like, am I doing this shit right?
There was a few directors that I hollered at. Gore Verbinski was someone that gave me a lot of pointers. I had worked with him before. You know, I did a lot of like watching like masterclass and different because like, you know, I don't know a lot of directors outside of, you know, people that, you know, few people, but I watched a lot of masterclass. Like you know, Scorsese said the same thing, like the hardest thing about directing is getting out the car. And as soon as you get out the car, then you're in, and you gotta start.
All the questions start coming in. Like,
exactly. And so, you know, a lot of those guys too, they also say that there's no one way to do it. You know, you got to be careful. You got to be comfortable with like pivoting and knowing when something's working, knowing when something's not working, and moving with it, and letting the actors act, and, you know, letting your DP help you out as well. You know, the people behind the scenes, your crew is everything. So.
And to go back to like your origin, you went from working on a weed farm in Santa Barbara to being homeless with a newborn, and that both your parents were incarcerated, to just like that, Dr. Dre is calling you, and you are featured 6 times on his album Compton.
Yeah, I mean, just like that is like 10 plus years.
Yeah, right. You're like,
yeah.
so not just like that. I take my snap back. But okay, so walk me through that week when that happened, or like maybe the day you got the phone call. Like, what was that like?
Yeah, they hit me up to work with Dre, and I almost didn't go because
why?
I felt like I had missed that boat. I didn't think Dre would be there. I didn't think the album was ever really coming out. I used to get hit up a lot to work with Dre on this album Detox that may or may not come out.
Got it.
By that time, I didn't really want to go in some studio and try to help with someone else's vision. I felt like I had too many things going for myself, and I wanted to just work on my thing. And I think some of that now is probably like a little bit of self-sabotage. Some of it I was probably like a little scared that maybe I wouldn't be accepted in those rooms. But they begged me to go, and I showed up, and the first 2 people I met was Dre and DOC, and they were just like, yo, what up? Hey, P, I fuck with your shit. Yeah, it's gangster. And I was like, thank you, sir. And then he just was like, they just left. And I was like, okay, shit. They're like, right this way, go to the studio. And I walk in the studio, and these 2 writers were in there, King Mez and JT. And they were like, yo, we love your song, Suede. I had a song called Suede that me and my boy Knowledge did. I have a group called No Worries, and we had released that. And it was just like making its round in the scene. And Spotify wasn't like a big thing back then. All we really wanted was like to get viral on SoundCloud and have our music played at Low End Theory with Fly Low and Gas Lamp and stuff. So that was what it was for me. I was like, I'm popping in the underground. I don't, you know.
Like I made it.
The song is moving. I was really trying to find my sound still, but through that song was one of the real songs that like, okay, kind of, I was like, this is my tone, this is my vibe I'm on, and they loved it, and they were like, you know, Dre wants to make something, let's cook up, and I'm like, bet, let's do it, throw on a beat, and they were like, you know, hold up, let's let Dre hear this song first, and I was like, wait, he hasn't heard it yet? Shit.
Oh wait, so when they invited you, Dre hadn't heard it yet?
Yeah, it was them that heard it.
Oh, so you had to watch him listen to it in real time?
Yes, and I
Were
was
you
shitting
nervous?
bricks. Hell yeah. I was like, nah, let's just get something going. I'm already in here. I don't want to get kicked out, you know? So they brought him in, and they threw on the record, and I didn't even want to look. I just didn't know where to look. I was just looking at the floor. That's when I realized, like, Dre wears the same shoes, the same white Air Force Ones. Yeah. I was like, cool. That's really cool. And so they throw on the music, and they cranking it, and I look up, and Dre's just like, yeah.
You're like, thank
Play it
God.
again, play it again. Yeah, and he ran it back like 3-4 times. And we was working ever since, and I was just getting invited back to the studio every day, and he was just letting me do my thing. He would produce me and coach me through it, but when I would go back, I would hear like, oh, I'm still on the record. Like it wasn't someone else that ended up recording it, or it was me. And they would tell me like, don't tell anybody about this top secret Dre album. Don't say anything. And I told everybody, told all my cousins and mama, auntie.
But that don't really count though.
It don't.
It don't count when when it's family and like the group chat.
Yeah,
with the friends.
or the homies, or the person at the bar,
or like Facebook,
or
Instagram.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Or when you like yell it outside the window,
screaming
yeah.
it out.
I don't think that counts.
Yep. Yeah, I was just like on top of the world, and then he dropped an album. He dropped the album before I could drop. He dropped that Compton album. It was like a surprise album, and I was all over it. And you know, the rest is history.
I think what's so special about that moment too is like your sound is not what we're typically used to hearing Dre collaborate with. Like, it's not gangster rap. So I feel like it's even more beautiful that he embraced you and like let you keep your like unique sound too.
Yeah.
Because were you nervous about that? Like when he was listening to it for the first time, like, oof, this ain't what you probably used to.
Right. You know, one thing is that like by the time I had gotten to Dre, I was confident at least in what I could do.
Good.
I had been in LA for, 10 plus years at that point, making my own stuff and developing my own sound. So by the time I got to him, I knew at least I could do me. I wasn't trying to, I kind of was out of the phase where I was trying to emulate someone or do all these different things that people wanted me to do at the time. If you were a hip hop artist or R&B artist, they really wanted to put you in a box that they could kind of understand. And I wasn't that. I was doing all kinds of different genres. I was smiling. I had a septum ring. I was doing all kinds of shit, you know? And I was making my albums in different locations and different beaches because of that, because I like to have fun and utilize and have fun with all my different musical personalities. So when I got to Dre, I think it was perfect time for both of us because he was in a different position in his life too. He had just sold beats. He was making movies now. He wasn't pressed to sign anybody or be anything. He was honestly, I think, looking for some new inspiration, and I came around at the right time, where I was just a smiley kid that, like he said, he was like, you different, and I love that. And he was like, I could work with anybody, but if I don't vibe with him,
it's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. And we vibed, that Aquarius vibe, and I had fun with him, and just being in the studio, trying different stuff. It was awesome to be with a producer that would make me try different things and push my range. And he used to say, hey P, you got that pain in your voice. And after 150 takes, my shit was hurting.
Yeah. Like it's true pain.
This is ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of times too, he just let me do my thing, and I think it was cool. I think it was just good timing for both of us.
What do you feel like you've learned from Dr. Dre that has nothing to do with music?
Probably it's good to find an exit. Get something that you can, invest in, that is a part of your brand, that maybe you can, pass down to your kids. Like, it's dope to see Dre is one of those rare people that have gone through 80s, 90s, 2000s into now, 2026, to see at later in his career that he's performing at the Super Bowl halftime show, at, I don't know, he's 60 now or something like that. It's that's wild. And so continuing to rebrand, continuing to delve into other things outside of music is a big thing of what I learned from him, and that's what I'm in the genesis of now, getting into the film, industry.
Yeah. Speaking of the Super Bowl halftime show, is it true that you pitched yourself to Dre by putting yourself on a flyer?
Yeah.
Like the flyer of the lineup. You just added your photo.
Sometimes you gotta force it.
So I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, I forced it. I was just feeling left out.
why did you call me?
Yeah, they announced it, and everybody was on there, and then here go my mom, Brandon, why ain't you on the flyer? Ain't you signed in?
Question.
I'm chill, Mom, I got this. And so I hit him up. I'm like, Dre, come on, Dre, what's up? Can I, hold a tambourine or something? I'm on the label too. And he's like, I'm gonna hit you back, AP. I'm gonna see what's up.
Your impression is on point.
I'm working on it. I've been getting better at it. But yeah, so while he was working on it, I went ahead and made a flyer. It's before AI or any of that. I just had, had the homie whip up something on Photoshop, and he kind of, superimposed me in there in that lineup.
Yeah.
And I fit.
Where you belong.
I'm sure where I belong.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, he hit me up, and he asked me if I wanted to play drums with Marshall, and I was with it. And Yeah.
You seemed so happy on the stage.
I was geeked.
You seemed ecstatic. Was there any like nerves or like behind the scenes moments that stand out to you leading up to the halftime show?
Yeah, I mean, before that I was like tripping out because like it's the craziest song to have to play at the halftime show.
Facts.
You know, lose yourself, you only got one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. Do
Literally.
not drop your sticks.
Yes.
Do not piss off the entire Avengers squad that's on that stage, because if I mess up, they're gonna all be looking at me. And so, yeah, I was just like, I was hyped for it. I was feeling good. There was a few things in my head, like, should I smile? Should I not smile? And
Gotta be free.
you know,
Let your freak like fly.
right before we went on stage, Snoop's in the ears, and he's like, "Hey, cuz, is it la-di-da-di-da or da-di-da-di-da?" And so I was like, okay, I'm not the only one nervous. I got up there, and I just couldn't help it. I was just geeked up, and you know, everybody was just like, "Whoa, that's him."
Your movie is coming out, or will be out by the time this is out, and you're also going on the romantic tour with Bruno Mars.
That's right.
What?
DJ Pee-wee.
DJ Pee-wee, exactly. So what do you appreciate most about y'all's dynamic? Because it's just so special, and I feel like everybody loves seeing you guys together.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's just, that's my brother.
Yeah.
And he's arguably one of the biggest stars in the world. I think one of the greatest entertainers we have right now, singer, performer, dancer, producer, writer. And the fact that we're friends, like we're real friends, and we bonded together just through like laughter and stuff that we listen to, and to share the stage with him is a big honor. He doesn't work with just anybody, and let alone be on the stage and then have a group with him. The group is forever. Like, we can always do stuff, you know, until we're Dre's age or older, you know? So that's the funnest part, being able to go back to that whenever. And it started in quarantine, and we killed it with the album, and then, you know, we both have put out stuff, and now he's doing his solo project, and also now like reaching back, like, hey, you want to come on the road on this thing? And it's awesome, because it's like, whew, that's gonna be insane. The shows.
Is there anything that he does that still surprises you, like of how talented he is, like musically? Or you're just like, damn, you're cold?
Yeah, I mean, like, he's always pushing himself. He's always like trying to do, you know, he's not one of those dudes that is like just trying to make a vibe or anything like that. He's trying to make something that the world can sing and the world can dance to. And it's not like it's contrived or anything. Like, that's naturally what he loves. And he's amazing at it. I think he's one of the best. And a lot of people don't know how hard that is to do.
Yeah.
Especially people that come from our era, where we play instruments, where we love live instrumentation, and then seeing that on stage with the group of guys that he grew up playing with, dancing and all that stuff. That's really we're the last of a dying breed out here that's still doing that. So for him to continue to push that is, he doesn't have to, and he's still doing it, and it's amazing.
For Silk Sonic, you guys won 4 Grammys and then took yourselves out of consideration for the following year. Why did y'all do that? Is that like similar to what you were talking about with Dr. Dre, of just like knowing when to leave?
I think so. I think there's an art to that, and I think like when you sweep, we get up there with the bob, and it's like clean sweep, and everything is working. It's like, how do you beat that? How do you? It's almost like, all right, man. Like, it's we appreciated the Grammy and everything, and it's almost just like, hey, man, that was the moment right there. Like, how do you come back?
Just
You know,
like,
tell them what
be.
can happen. Let's just keep it like that, you know.
Yeah.
And it's big. It's a big move to do that, and it's something that we all talked about, and we felt like, yeah, I think this is the best move.
I love that.
Yeah.
How would you say DJ Pee-wee shows up differently than Anderson?
I mean, when Pee-wee shows up, it's his show. Like, I know it's Bruno's romantic tour, but when he shows up,
like, it's my shit
it's
too.
going down. He's the biggest DJ in the world. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's co-headliner. And Pee-wee gonna be up there playing the jams. Like, people are gonna be coming in, and he's gonna be setting it off. So he's gonna be setting the tone in the whole room. And you know, Pee-wee's he's a superstar. He's a, you know, person that is a party starter, and he is the life of the party. And he's gonna have some tricks up his sleeve for sure.
Being like an obsessive vinyl collector, is there any tips you have for like taking care of your vinyls? I feel like a lot of people just have them for decor, honestly, but for the people that really play the records and want to like upkeep them, do you have like a very detailed routine of how you take care of your babies?
I have a DJ sensei. That's what I call him. Shout out to Eddie Mack. He's got years in the game, been in the game more years than I like can count, and he's like really like the human like computer Rolodex when it comes to all the vinyl, how to take care of them, what versions and everything. And it's a big part of the reason why there is a DJ Pee Wee. Like I was DJing in high school, but I got reintroduced to it and fell back in love because I met Eddie Mack at the after parties at On the Record during the Silk Sonic thing. And he had all the records. And he was on the turntables. I asked if I can get on, and I didn't want to get off. And he was like, "Hey, come back tomorrow. I'll bring a crate for you." And he brought a crate. You know, it was organized. And then we just started building from there. And I got super into it. And that's what we do. We build crates. We sit back, think about, okay, this works. Let's switch it up. You know, don't get too comfortable. A lot of DJs get too comfortable with their vinyls and what they play. But when you got someone who has just like, it's like going to like a library, and he's like the librarian. And he's like, okay, I got this one for you.
That's so sick.
It's sick, bro.
To go back to our tattoos for a second, I know you have a tattoo of your will.
It's not a will. It's more just like a little statement piece that I made. You know, quarantine was rough. And, you know, I was doing anything to get out the house. So I got a lot of tattoos during that time. Like, I'll be back. I'm going to get a chest piece, you know.
What is the statement that you have?
It just says, you know, when I'm gone, please don't release any posthumous albums or singles with my name attached. Those were just demos and never intended to be heard by the public.
What made you want to do that?
I just couldn't sleep one day. And I was seeing a bunch of stuff. And I was like, this could be funny.
Fire.
You know?
But is it true?
This whole arm is
it
like,
true?
It is true.
Okay.
Like, I'm very particular. And if I didn't put it out, it's probably for a reason. Or I was probably still working on it. I'm very particular about order and, like, different things. And I don't want people to just throw other people on there. You know? It takes time. And so every artist, I would think, is very particular about the stuff they put out. And so, you know, that might not be every artist's wish, but yeah, at the time it was my wish. But honestly, too, when I'm gone, I ain't gonna be tripping.
Like
you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? This arm is honestly like all funny tattoos. My boy Mac Miller told me, like, rest in peace. Like, he was like, you should have like some sort of limb or something where you just have fun. And this arm, I got a bunch of stuff. I got Marge and Homer. I got Animal. I got funny things on this arm.
How did y'all's friendship develop?
We met through Twitter, and he reached out.
You and Mac Miller met through Twitter?
Yeah. Well, initially, yeah, he reached out after the Compton album came out, and he was like, "Yo, what's it like to be on Dre's album?" I was like, "Man, you know how it is." He's like,
it's regular Tuesday.
He's like, "I don't know how it is, bro." Like, that's great. Like, so, like, he was just like right away, like, really cool, and I already knew of him before that, big fan, and a lot of the same people that I was in the circle with, they were working with him, or he had helped out. You know, I knew a lot of people that he was bringing on tour, like the internet and Vince and everybody. And so Schoolboy Q, like, these were all people that were really close to him. So when he reached out, I was like, oh man, finally. And we started sending records back and forth, and he asked me if I had something that kind of like already had a hook on it. And I sent him Dang. Me and Pomo had worked on that.
I love that song.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we worked on that. I had a hook on it and sent it to him, and he loved it and sent back a full song. And had horns on it, had his verses on it. And then the first time we met was at the video shoot. And it was this like warehouse in downtown. It was hot as hell. And he was in there just like being Mac. And we shot the whole video. It was super fun. And then we were leaving, and we got stuck in the elevator. And the elevator was just stuck.
That's my biggest fear.
Yeah. And there was a little kid on the elevator, and he was like, "Oh no, what are we gonna do?" And the kid was like crying and stuff. He was like, "We might be stuck in here forever." Yeah, he was a fool, man. He was crazy.
Were y'all panicking, or were you and Mac like just like consoling
He was
him?
having fun. He was cracking up, you know. Like, I was panicking. It was hot. Like, it was crazy, but he wasn't. He was chill.
Well, how long were you guys stuck?
He thought it was really funny. I mean, it seemed like forever, but it was probably like, you know, a few minutes.
Okay.
If that.
Thank God. Your original moniker was Breezy Lovejoy, right? And you had a mixtape that you released with the group called Block Cheddar that was only Coldplay remixes. And it's giving like garage band, boy band, which we don't have anymore.
Right.
Actually, that's all I wanted to say. Is like, damn, where are they? I just miss, especially like alt
We
black
need more
people.
bands.
Like,
yes.
The first person that comes to mind is like maybe a Rico Nasty or something, but I'm like, I don't know. I just wanted to say, I wanted you to do a PSA that
all
we
the
need
bands,
more.
where are all the bands? We need more bands. If you are a band, you play some instruments, you play and perform, come to Ape Shit. I got my label, Anderson Paak Empire. Crystal Miles, shout out to Crystal Miles, she's running it. We be taking in all the musicians, the player, performers. Shout out to Domi and JD Beck. Shout out to Steel Beans, Ray Khalil, the free nationals. Like, this is what we are building over there. We need more of. We need to bring musicians to the forefront. If you can play and perform, even if you got a band that you perform in front of, let's do that, you know?
Amen.
And while you're performing, you need to stay fresh and hydrated. Now, speaking of ventures, you know, I got another venture.
What's this?
I'm go ahead and
Wham?
plug. This is a Wham. Okay, you familiar?
I'm not.
This is
Put me on.
this is my mint. I started my own mint with my doctor. That's my vocal doctor. He's a Harvard graduate, so you know you can trust it. Doctor formulated it. This is a mint, but it's also for hydration. Go ahead, get you a Wham. You see the dust.
That
Come
comes
on now.
out. This is official.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, I don't
These
want
is
to touch
yours.
all of them.
These
I
is
can have
yours.
the whole
Yeah, this is
thing?
all you. Now they not.
What is this shape? Paisley print?
That's a little like drop, little water drop, because you know it hydrates you. So Wham, wet ass mouth.
Y'all.
You feel it working? See that? That's you. That's you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's my pleasure.
I love this. I also just love the design. This is beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Super dope.
Yeah, confidence is meant to be shared. You feel me?
Facts. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I really enjoyed speaking with you. Thank you for taking the time. Congratulations on your movie.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the tour. Just everything. I admire you. I think you're incredible.
Thank you so
just
much.
rooting for you always.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Of course.
Appreciate
of course.
you.
And like you can give me the jacket
swap.
off cam.
I like the shirt,
and the shades.
the
We'll
jewelry.
talk about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
For sure.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.